mom and dad went to Marquette.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom and dad both graduated from Marquette. So actually my dad at the time was the editor at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, which I believe might have been it was still the same company, but it was like the Milwaukee Journal and the Milwaukee Sentinel back in the day. So anyway, I went to, I started out in school at UW-Madison. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This school was less expensive, and we had 9 kids in our family, and you can imagine, paying for college for all those kids. So I was at school in Madison, and don't mean to brag, but I did pretty well in terms of grades. And so at the time, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel offered a merit-based scholarship for children of employees who did well in their grades, and merit-based. And I was offered a partial scholarship to Marquette, and it made it more affordable, so I transferred to Marquette. And that's how I wound up at Marquette. I did not. But here I am. So
how do you feel about it?
Did you imagine yourself coming back to speak at Marquette? I mean, maybe I wasn't that ambitious, but at the time. But I would have, you don't picture yourself being old when you're in college. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe I pictured myself in like 2 years coming back to speak, because I was like, you don't imagine yourself like married with 5 kids and coming back to speak at your alma mater. It was not something that was on my bucket list at the time. It's very flattering and wonderful that I was invited to speak. And so, but no, I didn't plan it. It had to have been one of the plays I did.
Okay.
Like, I guess I didn't, prepare this, 'cause I'm just trying to think of, there was just so many good memories of, the theater department is really good. Like, it was really a great experience for me. And one of the things that we had to do when we were there is that, if you were a theater major, you had to, even if you wanted to be an actor or whatever, you had to learn stagecraft and learn costuming and learn all the aspects of the production. And it was part of your credits. So, it gave me an opportunity to get in all those crews and take lighting design classes and take costume design classes. And, ultimately I'm a producer now. So, had I only been in like a conservatory school where I was just learning like voice and acting and movement, I never would have been able to dabble in all those areas. And then ultimately, that's what I chose to do, was a little bit of all of it. Well, I would say that, and not to get all like cheesy on you or anything, but
no, please get cheesy.
Okay, so I would say that, my mom and dad went to Marquette, so I'm really biased on like this answer. But also, when I was a kid, we went to Jesu Church growing up. So prior to me being in college and being just a kid in Milwaukee who was in grade school and high school, my family went to Jesu Parish, and we lived on the east side. So it was kind of it wasn't like our neighborhood parish. I mean, sometimes we were late and we went to the neighborhood parish, but we were involved at Jesu Church. And one of the memories that I have is going to this family program where it was people from all over the city who chose to go to this downtown church, which was kind of like the most exciting part of Milwaukee, because there's all these college students, and it's downtown Milwaukee, so it's like it's not just on a campus somewhere. So it's like real people, like people from all walks of life. So Marquette is like the center of the city, and the connection with the spiritual element and like the Jesuit type spin on it, because a lot of saints go off into the woods and hide in the woods and say, I'm just going to pray to God my whole life or whatever. But the Jesuits were like, we need to be out there. You know what I mean? We need to be in the classroom and in the cities. And and look at the world through this gift that we've been given. So rather than, just like staying in the church all the time and being like, oh, all those people out there are going to distract me from God. I think the Jesuit model is kind of like finding God in everything. Like finding God in no matter what religion people are, or what type of person they are, what color they are, what creed they are. It's finding God in everything, and I think that that's what I was taught growing up, and it just happened to be on the campus of Marquette. And the other thing, because my father worked at the Milwaukee Journal as a theater reviewer. I just remember going to the theater at the Helfer Theater and seeing like amazing plays that were like Broadway level productions, and it really attracted me to be to go there. Having the mix, I could go on and on about the Jesuit thing because I think it's really great. But that aside, because I think that's your question, and not to be redundant, but I think that there are kids, students at Marquette from all over the place. They're from all over Wisconsin and all over the world, and they're put in this city where they're not cloistered off on some campus somewhere, because you're interacting with real people who are not students all the time. So I think that and then you're meeting people from all over the place. So your peers are not necessarily like from your high school, right? They're different. And that, in conjunction with the fact that you're put into this downtown city center, really prepares you for what life is like. Because when you go out into the world, you're probably going to get a job in a city. And you're going to have this like experience of living in a city and dealing with all the difficulties that a city, all the obstacles that a city presents. It might be a little harder for you to get to class one day, or there might be someone jackhammering right outside of your lecture hall, and you're like, I can't, so it kind of gives you that edge to sort of overcome those obstacles. And then, of course, in conjunction with the Jesuit side of it, which is to, have a really inherent sense of social justice. So it's not just, there's all this injustice in the world or whatever, but it's like a deep, almost inner stirring of a connectivity with other people in the world, so that the, a famine or a genocide in another part of the world is not just news. It's like part of who you are because you're connected to other human beings. I think that that's really important too. And I think that having the ability to have had an education where you're not just presented with facts to memorize and regurgitate. It's like, I feel like the classes and the professors at Marquette maybe gave more of like a map of saying, look, I'm going to present all these facts, and you are going to find what the answers on this map are yourself. And I think that makes it a little bit more of a, of an interactive education. And then also, obviously, like making all your decisions with like good ethics and values. I think that that's not just because you're going, oh, I'm a good person. It's because it literally influences the way people around you act. So you have this chance of, when you leave Marquette, is to bring that experience with you a little bit, and in your new job or your new situation, that you can be that person who diffuses that level of social justice and morality and ethics in your decision making, and it actually can change the conversation in the room. What is the thing I miss most about Marquette? Let me think. I miss like how beautiful it is in the summer. I know that you guys all probably leave in the summer, but like May and June and like September, it's like in New York where I live now, it gets really hot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get hot in Milwaukee until like August and everyone's gone. or like maybe mid-July, but like those breezy, beautiful months, like walking around the campus and just being in where there's a lot of beauty, but there's also a lot of like grittiness too around the campus, and I kind of miss the weather. You know what I mean? I miss like it's hard for me to say because I live in like a spectacular city that's like I encourage everyone to visit, but I do miss just the beauty of the lake, like just being around like that Lake Michigan and the location of Marquette is just like such a gem.
You might be one of the only people, but you only miss the weather in the summer, right? You don't miss it in the winter.
I said summer. Like, I do not miss the winter. I do not miss the winter at all. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse here, and like a lot of people are blaming me for bringing Wisconsin weather to New York because it's like getting colder. But I remember the first time that after I moved to New York, that I went home for Christmas, I stepped out of the airport at Mitchell International, and I got hit with this like wind chill, and I was like, who would live here? Who would have in 1700s? Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's camp here for a while. It's a beautiful lake. It's so wonderful. Then that first winter, I'd be like, maybe we should go to Florida. Let's build our hut in Florida. I have.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Could you give us any sneak peek or anything?
I don't.
It's not the same speech I gave at Catholic U. That's
okay.
That's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's not like a regurgitated version of that speech. You guys are getting a whole new one. And also, you have to understand that Jim and I, like, develop stuff. So we've already, like, he's written some, I've written some, we've put it together, and we're on that stage. But probably by the time, you see it, it will probably have gone to a different level. So, but no, I can't give any spoilers.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I want to be surprised. But I just want to tell you, everyone at Marquette, especially class of 2018, we are so excited to have you and Jim speak. I just want you to know it means a lot to us that you're doing this. And also it meant a lot to us that you take the time to talk to us. And I loved getting to hear about what you missed about Marquette. And it's wonderful to get to talk to alums just like you, Jeannie. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day. Thank you.